In this video, you'll learn how to set your sampler blocks on point using setting triangles. You'll find out how to figure cutting sizes for these triangles and then how to construct your quilt. Ready to begin? Download a free copy of these directions at learnhowtoquilt.com. The example used on these directions is for a 6-inch block. If you aren't setting 6-inch blocks and you need to find out cutting sizes, follow the formulas on this page. If formulas aren't your thing, you can also get on the internet and Google setting triangles, where you'll find tables giving you the cutting sizes for different size blocks. Setting triangles are made up of half square triangles, or HSTs, and quarter square triangles, or QSTs. The difference between these two triangles is where their grain lines fall. There's less give on the straight of grain and cross grain than there is on the bias, where there's lots of stretch. You want to stay away from these bias edges because it can cause distortion or wavy edges in your project. Half square triangles and quarter square triangles ensure that the straight of grain and or cross grain end up on the outer edges of your quilt. You always want this half square triangle to be in the corner, as the straight of grain and cross grain are on the outside edges. The other setting triangle is a quarter square triangle. The straight of grain and cross grain also are on the outside edge. The triangles in the corner are formed when you cut a square in half on the diagonal like this. The triangles around the edge are formed when you cut a square into 4 separate parts. You'll need to cut 2 of the smaller squares and 2 of the larger squares. Lay out your blocks. You'll be sewing in diagonal rows. Put right sides together and sew 1/4 inch seams. Lay out your blocks. Put right sides together and sew. After sewing, lay out your blocks again. You should have 1 seam left in each of the 2 middle rows. Put right sides together. Find the midpoints of the 2 corners and then put right sides together. Sew 1/4 inch seams. Press the seams to the alternate blocks or to the setting triangles. When all of my rows have been sewn together and pressed, I'm ready to pin. Put right sides together. Make sure to match these intersections. Because of the way I've pressed, these seams will nestle in right up against each other, and I'll pin. Same is true of this intersection. They want to nestle up against each other, and I'll pin, and I'll continue pinning down this row. I've sewn down that line, and I want to show you what these sides look like. You should have about 1/4 inch from the tip of your block to the edge. You have these little ears here, but you can just cut them off after you've ironed. Sometimes I get something that looks like this, where one piece is a little bit higher than the other, and that happens from time to time. And so you just need to make sure that you've got 1/4 inch from the tip to the edge. And so if you want to cut that little excess off, that's okay. Just a reminder, when sewing these rows together, you want to make sure that these intersections are matching, but you also want to keep an eye on these points so as not to cut them off. Here's my completed top. I haven't decided if I want to add a border or leave it as is. I've been additioning different fabrics, but I haven't found one that rings my bell. If you've been following this series, congratulations! You've added a lot of new skills to your quilter's toolbox. You're ready to tackle more challenging projects. In our next series, you'll get a chance to work on confident beginner or intermediate blocks. Hope you stay with us. Thanks for visiting LearnHowToQuilt.com. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and share our videos with your friends.